Hello, today we are talking about mockups and we'll be making them in Photoshop. What is a mockup, first of all? Well, inside the files for today we have some different folders, some containing blank mockups. A blank mockup is basically just a frame containing a media which has been cleaned from the existing media so you can put a new advertisement inside of the blank mockup. And basically what you do to create a real life mockup is you find an advert or you create one yourself and then you place this advert inside of the blank mockup to create a simulation of how that commercial will look in real life when it's exposed to the customer or whoever it's intended to be exposed to. So here I've also made some examples of how a mockup could look. This was originally a blank mockup, but then I put an advert inside of that blank mockup and here as well. So that way we can see how things will look when they're out there in front of the people who are supposed to be exposed to this advertisement. So how do we do this? How do we place an advert on top of a blank mockup? First of all, I'll just open up two different mockups inside of Photoshop just to create, just to show you how this is done inside of the program. So, you know, there's a lot of different examples of blank mockups that I've made ready in this folder. So I'm just gonna take this one, for example. This is gonna be the one, and I'll take, I don't know, let's see, should it be, and perhaps this one. Yeah, so I'm gonna take these two and I'm just gonna open them up with Photoshop. There we go. And I'll also find the advertisements which is going to be placed inside of them. Notice that this mockup is portrait format while this is landscape format. So I'm going to, you know, figure out which advert is correct for this type of media. So I'm going to open up my Google Adverts and find, you know, the proper. This, for example, would go well format-wise with this attribut. So I'm gonna choose this one for the poster. I'm actually just gonna move it in right away. So I'm just gonna use my move tool, click on top of the image and move it up here to the tab and just move it down again and release my mouse button. That way we'll have the picture inside of the other picture. Okay, likewise over here I'll find some advert which will fit to this screen. So I'm going to say file, open. You could also place, you know, but if you place it will become a smart object, meaning you'll not be able to edit it regularly. So you will have to right click and choose for it to become rasterized if you put it in as a smart object. It's not going to be a smart object because I choose file, open. So I'm just going to find something that will match, that will be proper for the screen. This is perhaps a bit too long, a bit too wide. So I'll see if I can find something that is a bit less wide. This is probably going to be great. So yeah, let's see if that's the one. Yeah, I think that's the one. It looks a bit pixelated, so perhaps it's very small. I'm just gonna move it over there. Rips. Yeah, it's very small, but let's not consider that for this assignment because normally, you know, you would find a picture which matches the size of the screen. So you don't have to scale it upwards and thus destroy important details on the picture because it becomes pixelated. But okay, so I'll just close these two pictures And let's choose this one first. So what you do first is you place the picture and move it towards one of the corners. I almost always use the top left corner. I wouldn't do that on this picture because I would choose instead the top right corner, because it's the one which is gonna have the highest scale, the biggest dimension compared to the left. But often we'll see that see a situation like this. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out which proportion is biggest, the left or the right. So I'll choose the left because the left is the biggest. It has the highest dimensions because it's set in perspective. Likewise, this one, the right, has the highest dimensions because it's set in perspective. So that part of the screen is closer to us, and this part of the screen is further from us. Yeah, okay, so that's placement. That's the first part. Then next off is actually scaling. I see this actually is a bit tilted. I see a small white area down here. We can always fix that, but I'm just gonna say that's okay for now, but I could rotate my image like 0.5 degrees when free transforming it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is free transform. So I'll say edit, free transform. This is inside of the menu, edit, and there's a command for this keyboard shortcut, which is Command T. On a PC, that's of course Control T. I'm gonna click this, and then I'm just simply gonna move and drag this picture down here. And if I wanted, I could actually rotate it so it fits this area over here, but it seems like it's okay. I'm just gonna ignore that, and I can always fix that if it shows out to be a problem. So I'm gonna scale it so it fits the other corner down here at the bottom of the picture. I'm gonna click enter. It's really important that I click enter now instead of doing step 3. Step 3 is to right click and choose distort. If I do that right now, it will actually, I can just show it. I'll do this and do this. And what happens when I click enter is if I'm unhappy with the result, when I click undo, it goes all the way back to the original. If I, to when I clicked enter the last time. So this is a problem for me. So if I was not unhappy with how it was, distorted, I would normally just scale it down to here, then click enter, and then click free transform again, which is Command T, Control T on a PC. And then when inside of free transform, after having clicked enter and going inside of it again, I would right click and choose distort. Okay, so then I will take these corner and drag them down to where they're supposed to be on the poster frame, and I'll just release when they're approximately there. You can zoom in to see if it's looking more correct. Simply just go zoom in and check, is this actually, am I pulling it inwards correctly? Am I transforming this object correctly so it actually matches the poster frame? And you see here, now I can just fix this corner down here so we don't get this distortion. And up here actually it looks like I should be doing the same up here. Okay, so I think that's approximately how I want it. I'll click enter, and then we have this poster on I don't know if it's a bus terminal. The next thing I want to do is adjust the picture. So that's step 4, adjusting the picture so it looks proper, depending on which situation it's placed in, depending on the environment that it's in. You could choose to adjust just the image by using adjustments, but most likely it will give a better result that you choose a layer adjustment down from either here in the layers or up from the adjustment panel up here. Normally, one thing I would do is, if the levels, you will be shooting pictures later today, so most likely you will be adjusting levels. So or curves if you prefer curves, so that they do almost the same. Adjust light, darkness, contrast. You'll see what happens if I start adjusting these is that the picture becomes too bright, because this commercial right here is already, the proper lighting, because it has been edited in Photoshop already. This is not a Pepsi you find in real life and you take a photo of it. This is something that has been edited in Photoshop. So the levels have already been adjusted in this picture. So most likely levels will not be what you want to adjust, especially because the background also seems quite bright already. So I'll probably just not use levels, but most typically if it's pictures you've shot yourself outside or inside of blank mockups, you will want to adjust the levels. But and if you only want to adjust the levels on the background, you can actually just drag the adjustment level down so that it only affects the background and not the poster itself. Yeah. But I don't want to use levels. So instead I'll probably, actually it seems a bit dark now. It's probably just because I got used to looking at the bright version. So you have to consider if it needs brightening up. But I'll instead perhaps consider using a photo filter, which is a very easy way of making sure that both the poster and the background has the same color scale, so you could use, in this case, I don't think it's gonna do anything good to make the picture appear warmer, because it's already, a warm temperature. So perhaps making it seem more, clinical by adding a cooling filter could be better. So, you could click through these different variants and find out if this is something that will actually help your picture, or if it's something that will make it worse. And let's see, I think adding a cooling filter is helping me somewhat. It gives that same bluish feeling to both the poster and to the background. Before it seemed like there was too high temperature on the bus here. It seems better and also on the sky up here, it seems better that I just increase the blueness of the picture a bit. You could also do that instead of using cooling filters. You could instead use a color balance adjustment, or a hue saturation balance. Or if you want to pump up the midtones of color, you could use vibrance. I think I'm actually gonna do that. Just add some vibrance to the picture. And I'm sorry that my Photoshop screen is blinking all the time. It's after I recently updated my Photoshop, it does this, that you see right now. It blinks when I'm using adjustments, which is kind of annoying, and I'm trying to figure out how I can solve this problem. But perhaps you see that the colors now are different than the colors now. So I'm just gonna show the difference. You see, there's the blue in the sky, for example, has some difference, and so also the colors in this bus. I don't know what you call that, bus standing area. So you could adjust make some different adjustments to make this picture seem more as if this poster originally was located in this place. One way of making it look even more like this poster actually fits the setting it's in is actually just to add a small part of transparency to it. And that doesn't matter because the background here is white, so it's not gonna make anything stand true. So I could actually adjust the opacity a bit. Normally I would just adjust it 10%, so it's at 90% opacity. And you see that just makes it look much more like it's originally placed in this setting. So I think that's good for now. You could adjust it even more if it seems like it's not proper compared to the environment it's in. But I think this is good for now. I'll try doing the same over here. I'm just gonna, reshape this, but there is a few parts on this picture that I don't want. For example, the black up here, the black parts up here. So I'll just remove this part right here from the advert, and I'll just remove it down here as well. There we go. And then I'll just reshape this by using free transform. Again, that's Command T on a Mac and Control T on a PC. I'll just drag this bigger, and I'll try dragging it towards the bottom corner here. So this landscape format seems like it's not proper. But I'm gonna try seeing if I can get it the size of this corner down here. I will distort it afterwards, so we'll get it to fit the screen. This will, though, of course, create a distortion. It's probably gonna make the formats less wide than it was already. So I'm rescaling actually without it being proportional rescaling. So of course you should have made this advertisement. If you made it yourself, you should have made it the proper size for the screen format. And you would do that when making the advertisement inside of Photoshop. You would, or inside of InDesign or Illustrator for that sake, you would make it proper to the format that it's going to be placed in afterwards. But let's just check this out. I'm going to click Enter just to be sure that the scaling is over. Then I'm going to distort it. So I'm going to go to Free Transform again, Command T, Control T on a PC. And then I'm going to right click to choose Distort. I'm going to drag these corners so it fits. Just down here, and over here. And you can always again zoom in just to see if everything is good. So I'm just gonna zoom in, and I think this is approximately correct. I see that there's still some black I didn't get deleted, but I think this probably is almost like I want it. And up here, we place it like this. So that way I have distorted my picture so it fits the screen, and I'll just start afterwards adjusting so it's gonna look more proper. So I could also just right away just set it to 90% opacity, so it gets this shading from the mock-up behind it. So you see it's transparent, but as long as it's white in the background, it's not gonna show anything going through it. So that's really important with blank mock-ups, that you have cleaned the area that it's gonna be in. Especially if using transparency on it. Okay, so next off I'll start using adjustments, and I'll just do it in the same fashion that I did before on the previous picture. So that's up to you now. Your assignment is to try creating some mockups using the blank mockups and the Google adverts inside of the files that I handed out to you. Good luck.